Hello massage nerds. Today I'm bringing you a cupping video. I'm going to show you the different cups that I use and that we can use as massage therapists. I'm going to give you some contraindications and some of the benefits of doing cupping and some techniques. So let's start with the cups. These little cups are usually for the face. These are for lymphatic drainage, from the face. And then you take it down to where the lymph drains. So I'll be showing you some work with this, just minimal so you can get an idea. I actually love these for small areas. This is great for small areas. And they're glass. They are glass. These are glass, so they're easy to clean. All of them are pretty easy to clean. These I just get either a Clorox wipe or cotton with alcohol and clean the inside and the outside with them. These cups have magnets in them, okay? These are the ones that have magnets in them. So when you suction the skin in there, this magnet will touch the skin. These cups are used by acupuncturists and chiropractors are the ones that can use this because they work with the energy, with the chi. Chi is the life flow, so they work with moving the chi blockages and stagnant chi, and they work with the 12 meridians. So these, unless you're a qualified, acupuncturist, I do not use these, and the magnets come off, okay? So if you want to use this, and they're separate, well, here, I can't take it off, but I put that in there earlier, so you can remove it and use it just like this, just the cups. Now these I also just wash with soap and water, but I don't touch anything up here or with alcohol, And these kind of have a tendency to dry out a little bit more and crack. So I'm very careful on how I clean these too, just with, with water and soap if I can. Now these are the silicone ones, and I really like these. You can put these in the microwave and warm them up a little bit, or you can put them in your towel warmer. So it brings a little bit of added heat to your client, and these are, perfect for us to use too. I'll show you because this is mainly what I use now. And I also have the glass cups. Okay, these are glass, and this is the one where you light, with the alcohol and you light it. Now our insurance does not cover for us to use these because we're using fire. So again, if you work with a chiropractor or under a chiropractor's license, or an acupuncturist, you can use this. And actually, this is where I learned, because, cupping has been around for years. First the Chinese and Eastern medicine. And I know that my mom used to use this on us. She would actually get a 50-cent piece and then get a candle, a short little candle, drip some wax on the coin, dry the candle on the coin, and then place the coin and then light the candle and put a cup, a mole cup. Would you believe that? A mole cup. Glass. It has to be glass. Place it. And once it suctions and there's no more oxygen, the candle turns off. And then that's how you would move it and, leave it there for a little bit. But I'll tell you more about that. Again, glass and fire. Well, fire is not covered by our insurance. So be careful with these. And this is another one. This is the one that I also use. These are smaller cups, and I use 1 or 2 at a time. So I'll show you how I use this on the back and on the leg. So now let's talk about the contraindications. Some of the contraindications is obviously if somebody has open sores or cracks or really dry skin or a sunburn or decubitus ulcers, which are bed sores. If they have any blood disorders or liver problems or cardiac problems, or they are going through dialysis, you do not want to do any cupping on them, okay? Make sure you get a good medical history and find out if they are on blood thinners. Because if they're on blood thinners, they bruise easy. So Coumadin is a blood thinner. Baby aspirin is a blood thinner, so make sure you get a good medical history so that you know whether you can apply any of the cupping on them. So it increases the blood flow to the area. You know, if they're ischemic, if there's no blood flow, it'll increase that. It warms up the tissues before you even start. So you can incorporate this to your massage techniques, to your routine. You can incorporate it for 5-10 minutes to warm up the muscles. It's also very good for scar tissue. Remember that fascia is what forms scar tissue. So if somebody has had surgery and they're already, okay with the doctor, they've already been released, you can break up some of that scar tissue that starts pulling the fascia from different areas. So it's good for that. It's good for, promotes healing to an area. And also it's very good for the lymphatic system, the circulatory system, the nervous system. It increases parasympathetic system, so it helps you relax and bring down your blood pressure. So it has a lot of benefits. So you can use it under all those circumstances. You can give a 15-minute cupping session, or you can do half an hour just cupping session, or you can include just 5 minutes into your routine. Because I'm going to show you some stationary cupping and how to park the cups and how to move them. So I'm going to do a little bit on her leg and her neck for the lymph, to drain the lymph, and then some on her back. And I'm going to use 2 different types of cups. I'm not going to use the glass ones, but I will use the hard plastic and the silicone ones, and then these glass ones too. So you pick up the sheet, and you want to tuck, remember, at the waist. And you can use lotion, oil, cream, whatever you use, but make sure that they are lubricated, because it helps the glide of the lymph. So I'm going to start with a little bit. I use oil, a little bit of oil. And let's pretend that I've already done some effleurage and petrissage and do whatever it is I'm going to do to warm up her leg a little bit, because I want to start right away and show you how to place the cups and some of the different things that I do. So on the leg, I would use it mainly, well, let's say that maybe the rectus femoris has some tightness, the quads have some tightness, so I can use it to promote some some circulation, or I can show you the difference also for lymphatic drainage. So I'm going to start with this cup. These are 2 good sizes. So usually you squeeze, you put your thumbs in the middle, then you put it close to the skin and it lifts up. And you can see that there is some discoloration already. I like the clear ones because you can see that it's got a pretty good suction in there. Okay, and you always want to lift. You've got muscle and fascia, the fascia from the muscle. Lymphatic, you don't use that much suction. So you go slowly. Okay, that one's really tight. It's too tight. I'm going to have to undo it. I put it too tight. So you can always tell, but because you want to be able to move it. You want to be able to move it up and down the muscle. You lift. If you can see, I'm lifting and then moving it, and you can see how it pulls the tissue from another area. You can go cross fiber, but you've got to lift it. You've got to be able to lift this and treat the muscle cross fiber. You can see that I'm lifting the fascia. Okay, so you want to lift, and look at that nice glide. I'm lifting, see? I'm lifting from here and just moving the cup up and down the quads. This is going to start turning a little bit red. And I'm lifting to pull that fascia. Be careful here in this sensitive area, because as you get closer to tissues that are not, as used to it, they could hurt. So, okay. Now I'm going to go cross fiber. This is really good to go cross fiber. And you're lifting the cup so you can see the skin moving. I've had clients where I'm working their back and they feel it, down their low back, because it pulls. It's pulling that fascia from different areas. So it could be pulling from this side. So I do several strokes. I can spend 5 to 10 minutes here if I decide to do more if they really need it. If I'm doing a cupping session, I would do more here. Longer time is what I mean. You can also keep it stationary there and twist it. I'm lifting and twisting. I can move it, lift it and twist it, lift it and twist it, lift it and twist it. I'm really suctioning up, getting the tissue to go in there and create some more vasodilation. Now, the one thing that we are not allowed to do as massage therapists is leave it stationary. You do not leave it stationary. That's beyond our scope of practice. I tried last night to give myself, I did the cupping. I left this one on for 3 minutes and it really didn't do anything. Then I got one of the smaller ones. I got this one and I left this one there for 10 minutes and it barely gave me a mark, barely after 10 minutes. And then I did it here for 5 minutes and it didn't even leave me a mark last night. So this is the only one that was marked for about 10 minutes. The one for 3 minutes didn't do anything. So when you see those big marks, it's because they leave them on for a long time. And that's not within our scope of practice. We need to keep the cup moving. Because we do muscle manipulation. So make sure you find out in your state, if you're able to do that. Now, if you wanted to get 2 cups, you could, and this is called parking. I parked this one here just for a minute even. I can park this one here for a minute, but then I would get the other one, and then, maybe I could do both at a time. Lift. I should have gotten the plastic ones because they're the same size. But anyway, you can do, even like if you're doing petrissage, you can do both at a time, but you never want to leave 2. Even though they're not bruises. The markings are not bruises, okay? Bruises is when you hit yourself or you're injured, you do damage to the blood vessels. This does not cause any damage to the blood vessels. What it does is it increases blood flow to the area. So even you can lift and just go opposite, like if her, let's say her insertions are tight here, so I'm lifting and doing twisting motions, or you can do both at the same time. You can do the same thing on the back. So I like to use even like this. Just do like the ocean waves, remember? Go back and forth with the cups. So now, and to remove, you just squeeze a little bit and it removes it, okay? Now for the lymphatic flow. Remember, you need to take the lymph back to where it drains to we have lymphatic drain in the groin area and in the axillary area. So that's done a lot slower. Let me remind you that lymph, plasma, and interstitial fluid is the same thing. It's just called different for where it's at. If it is in the circulatory system, it's called plasma. If it seeps out and it gets between the tissues, it's interstitial fluid. And once it's reabsorbed by the lymph, it becomes lymphatic fluid. But it's the same. However, lymph is a little thicker, and lymph only moves by skeletal compression, by you walking and exercising, or by manipulating. But that's very gentle. Well, I'm going to use this one. This is a little smaller. I'm going to start here, and you don't suction as much for the lymph. When you want to get fascia and muscle, you can suction a lot in there, but just minimal. You know what? I'm going to show you with this one here. This is a little clearer. I do like a half a pump. Yeah, very minimal. Very minimal suction. And then you move it towards the groin. So I'm moving, and you move it very slowly. Very, very, very slowly. And if it gets stuck, you can even hold it here with your hand. And it's got to be well oiled. So, and then you take it towards the groin. Be careful, this area here might be sensitive to some people. So So I do like a half. If I did, look, see, that's like 2 or 3 pumps. Can you see how much of the skin went in there? You do not want to do this much for lymph. You put your finger underneath and it releases it breaks the suction. All I do is like half a pump. And it's just a little bit, and then you move it again real slowly. No, that was too much. That was too much. It's got to be able to glide just a little bit. Yeah, like that. You lift it, and then you move slowly towards the groin. The one for the muscle and for scar tissue, you know, it's a little bit faster, but for lymph, it's very slow, very small pump. Then you lift, and you move it slowly towards where it drains all the way up to the lymph nodes. Just a half a pump. I'm actually going too fast. It's done a lot slower. So anyway, that's draining towards the groin lymph. I'm going to show you now the one for the axillary and the neck. So let's move on up there. Okay, so now I'm going to use these glass ones, you know, for the lymphatic. These are used for the face and for the neck and you know, where we're going to take it to the axillary and the subclavian vein where it drains. So you want to make sure and apply some oil. I'm just going to do a little bit of applying some of the oil, and then I'll show you. If their skin is really dry, it'll absorb. So make sure that you get enough oil there so it doesn't break the suction. So after you've oiled everything really good, and like I said, these are glass, so I use the little one here for their face. If you just squeeze on and off, like just to start getting like on and off, on and off, on, off, on, off, on top of the jawline, and then you can start moving down here to bring it down. You do it 2 or 3 times. I don't want to do too much on her because she's feel uncomfortable. So you on, off, on, off. What I'm doing is trying to move the lymph down for it to drain. And like I said, it should be done really slow. I started too fast and then I remembered. And then, I don't know if this one's gonna, but you can move this one here. And like I said, remember, it's just a little bit of suction. And then you lift, and then you move it down really slow. Is that pressure okay, Mel? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not hurting? You let me know if it's hurting, okay? And then you bring it down. Oh, another thing is you don't use like the glass one and the hard plastic over bones, over the chromium process, the clavicle. You don't want to use it over bone. You glide slowly and bring it down to the axillary. Under normal circumstance, I would have her arm up in a high position, but for right now, I'm just going to show you one more time. You stay away from the carotid artery and the jugular vein. And then you lift slowly, moving it. The lymph is a little thicker than plasma. So I'm just following the contours of her skin. Is that still okay, Mel? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And very gently go until, well, it broke suction. But you do 2 or 3 here. And then you go to the sternum, and then just to warm up her tissue, I cup and I let go. I cup and I let go. I cup and let go. Cup and let go. As you can see, it starts turning red if you do that 2 or 3 times. And then now you can go in just a half a pinch there, and then just move it slowly, slowly moving it. And look at when it's down like this, it looks different than when you lift. When you lift, you're really separating the tissue and the fascia and moving the lymph here. So you want to drain it to the axillary. Drain here. And then to just break the suction, you just put your finger underneath. And remember that the lymphatic system drains the right side and the right part of your head, and it drains right here to the subclavian vein. And the rest of the body, your left arm, your left leg, both of your legs, and this part of the torso drains here. So this is the one I usually spend a little bit more time. So I go down about 1/2 inch and do the same thing. Just very slowly. And like I said, you can do a 15 or half an hour session of just cupping for the lymphatic flow. Or you can just incorporate it to, to your massage just to warm up the tissue. Okay. Just like when you use heat and it makes the skin a little bit redder because it's bringing up the blood flow, this is the same thing. It should not be bruised. It should not leave marks. It might be red for a little bit, but this is, just normal from increasing the blood flow to the area, just the way heat does. But with this, you're also manipulating the fascia. See how I'm pulling on the skin and it's lifting the fascia from the muscles. So now let's turn her on her back and I'll show you some more movements on her back. Okay, so I'm going to show you on her back. I already put oil on her back, so make sure you get, a good glide, whether it's lotion or oil. So I'm going to show you the difference. The hard plastic, you cannot go over bone. So I prefer this one, the silicone ones, because you can go over the bone and you can go over, down the lamina groove like this. So I'm going to start with this one, then I'll show you when I do use these. So let's start with this one first. See this one, now you can either push it in like this and pop it out, or you can squeeze it. My thumbs kind of hurt now, so I kind of try not to do that. So I do this. And this one you can put over the vertebrae. And remember, you lift. You start from C7 down. So you lift and you go down. And this really gets all the multifaceted muscles, the tiny little muscles that are attached to the spinous processes. And you can go up and down, and this will really warm up the tissue. I have enough tissue in there and muscle in there. You can move it, 1 inch down and glide, and remember, lift. And you can do all of the upper trap, the QL, the trapezius goes up to T12, so you can make sure and work that. You can work the scapula. You can go down. You can go across fiber. I really like this. And this is where my clients sometimes, like when I lift it, I'm lifting the tissue and it pulls from here or there. Because remember, fascia, covers all the muscle. So sometimes if it's tight here and it's pulling from over here, they'll feel it on another side of the body. I like to do cross fiber. And this is done. And in the back, it doesn't matter. When you're working the lymph, then it does. But here, it doesn't matter. But I do the lifting. You see, the lifting really gets the tissues, the blood flow, the fascia released, a little bit released, and creates more blood flow to those muscle tissues. So that's how you do it with that. And now, for this you can move all around the back and go over bone. Now, with these other ones, let's just say that I want to work 2 at a time. So what I do, I'm going to do one first and do a medium suction, 1.5, where you can see the tissue there. And I leave it parked there for a minute. It's okay. Because remember I told you, like, this was 10 minutes that I left on last night, and it barely marked me. The one I did for 3 minutes, it didn't even leave a mark. And so anyway, I'm sorry, this was the 10-minute one. 10-minute left a little mark. The 5-minute one didn't. The 3-minute one didn't. So I can leave that parked there for a minute. But now let's say I want to do both sides down the erector spinae. That was 1.5 pumps. And see, now I can work both. I can go down the lamina groove with these. Go down the lamina groove and come back. I have too much oil on my hands. I can go around the scapula here, lift around the rhomboids. Oops, broke the suction. My hands are all oily, that's why I'm not able to lift them too much. But I do like a 1.5 pump. Just a little bit. You can see how it's discoloring. It's already turning red. And for the lymph, you don't pump that much. It's just a little bit. So now you can do both at a time. Around the scapula, down the lamina groove, all the way down to T7, all the way up to C7. You know, you can do, like if you're doing effleurage and petrissage, and you don't go above C7. You don't go too much into the neck with these. But you can really do some nice movements, especially people that have low back pain. You know, hear this, you know, be very careful. You can do like the QL. The QL is a famous one for really, does that hurt a little bit, Mel? No? Oh, I thought you were moving. So you can, you know, move it here along the QL. And remember that QL inserts into the floating ribs. So with something like this, you could, you know, do over the ribs. But you go back and forth and you lift. When you lift, you get a better glide. So anyway, that's the difference between using the silicone, and I really do prefer these, but when you want to use 1 or 2 or more, then, you know, to move them around, then you can use these. And then with this one, I just really like this one. It gets the perfect amount of suction, and I can lift. I like doing one at a time really better. I really like one at a time better. And then remember the twist. Move it down an inch. I like to work in 1-inch increments. It's like move it down and then pull and twist. Move it down and twist. Or bring it out to the serratus anterior. You know, you can work. If you do this for 2 or 3 minutes, look at her back, how red it is. It's already got a lot of blood flow. So by the time you begin the massage, her back is already warmed up. And you've already loosened up that fascia. So anyway, this is fun. I love doing, and then just break this suction by putting a finger below, and that's it. So I hope that that you enjoyed this video. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back doing videos. I start teaching next week, so I'm doing good, guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the comments, the likes. You know, hit the subscription button, and until the next time, create a great day.